to the Travel Like a Boss podcast, the radio show all about traveling like a boss by being your own boss. Stay tuned for weekly interviews featuring guests that have built their own online businesses. If you would like to have access to our entire back catalog, visit travellikeabosspodcast.com for instant access. And here's your host, Johnny FD.
Hey guys, this is Johnny, and welcome to episode 146 of the Travel Like a Boss podcast. I'm here with my buddy, Julian Gold.
Hey,
Goldie.
Good to be here.
It's Goldie, right?
It's
like
Goldie.
Goldilocks.
Yeah, it's a real name.
That's crazy.
I know.
Julian Goldie. I like it. All right, so me and Julian have actually known each other for a few years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, here in Chiang Mai, we met at Myspace, was it?
Yeah, Space, yeah.
Yeah, what was the story? Do you remember?
I was walking around Space, and actually, did we meet at the coffee club?
I don't remember. It was literally like a few years
a good
ago.
Story.
We were back in Chiang Mai again, both of us sitting here in my apartment. Julian's been working online for a few years. We just had some lunch, and I figured, I was like, you know what? I never had him on the show, and he's doing well. So that's why I wanted to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be in it.
Yeah. So as you guys can tell, originally he is from the UK.
The UK, yes.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Kingdom.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's what it really stands for, yeah.
I don't know. Well, I was joking with Julian that I renamed the podcast to The UK Sucks. Well, no, sorry, no. It was
Fuck the UK, it was.
And I was like, yeah, Julian, come on my show. It's called Fuck the UK. And he's like, yeah, is that you talked about like politics and Brexit? I'm like, no, I just talk shit about the UK.
Just because I'm on, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think it's so fun to make fun of people from England or the country?
Well, our national food is fish and chips.
Okay.
So, that's a good start. Might as well be baked beans on toast. We have funny accents, I guess.
A bit, yeah, definitely.
And it's really bad weather.
I think it's because you guys take it so well. Like Canadians, you can't make fun of them because they'll disagree. They were like, oh, I see your point, eh? And then people from other countries might just get really offended. Americans will be like, yeah, right, we're the best. But British people, they'll like joke around with you as well.
Yeah, I think we take it well because we kind of know it sucks. It's expensive, bad weather. It's not much to like.
But that used to be the greatest empire in the world.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
For like what, hundreds if not thousands of years?
Yeah, 100 years, something like that. Yeah.
And you guys were known for, being posh and elegant, sophisticated, having, some of the best brands out there, luxury. Yeah. And then now you guys have the only way is Essex and...
Yeah, the pride of Britain, yeah.
It's like, what happened to you guys?
I don't know what happened, but something went badly downhill, yeah. And then we started making bad political decisions.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, I know we were kind of joking about it, but I've met more long-term expats from the UK that just never want to go home than any other country.
It's funny you say that, actually. Yeah, myself included... Every single Brit that I've met out here doesn't want to go back. They have no intention of going back.
Not even to visit.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that's insane because people from everywhere else, they like living abroad or they like being a digital nomad. They like traveling.
Yeah.
But they also like going home. Like, I love going back to the US. Yeah. It's just a bit far, so I don't do it very often. But I enjoy it when I'm there. And I'm like... But the people that I meet from the UK often, obviously it's not everyone, but often they're like, fuck that, mate. Never going back.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's a long way home from here, but I don't know. It is super expensive, bad weather. It's getting pretty crazy with the Brexit right now out there. There's tons of reasons not to go back, I guess. And not just for tax either.
Yeah, that's crazy. So how long have you been living out of the UK and where have you been?
So I moved out to Chiang Mai in April last year.
It's only been a year?
Yeah.
Man, I feel like I've known you for like years and years.
That's just our connection, Johnny.
Is that what it is? Okay.
But yeah, since then I've done Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Phuket, Bangkok, and I'm going to Bali this month. So yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Very
cool. Definitely want to talk more about your travels, but did you have some kind of online job before you came, or did you figure it out once you got here?
Yeah, so I was for about the last 5 or 6 years before I quit my job, I was working full-time as a marketing manager, and it was pretty boring, pretty brutal because I was working in recruitment. And then I went on holiday to Thailand, and when I got back, me and my best mate at the time said, within 1 year we want to be out here working online and living the life. So started working on Fiverr, pretty much earning $5 an hour, which is brutal.
If anyone's not familiar with Fiverr, it's fiverr.com. And it's a great place to get cheap gigs. So if you want like a cheap logo made for $5, if you want something cheap made for, something, whatever you want for $5, go on there. They pretty much have everything on there. But you weren't buying the gigs.
I was the cheap labor.
You were the cheap labor. And you're not from like India. You're not from Pakistan. You're an English guy, selling his labor for $5 a pop. What was the rationale for that?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I just wanted to get a taste for working online, and I knew Fiverr was like one of the easiest ways to do it. But yeah, it was kind of funny. I got my first $5, my first order on Fiverr, and I was like, I only need 100 more, and then I can move out to Thailand.
Nice. What was that for? That first one for?
That was for. I started off doing like blogs, article writing, like 500 words for $5. And man, it was brutal, but it actually gave me a really good feel for working online and getting started. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's actually, I think what's cool about it is knowing that it's a great place to get started, but it's not, you're not going to want to just do $5 gigs forever.
No way.
Did you know that like when you first started?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean, I saw it as like it was a temporary solution for getting me out of my job at the time. But then I knew as soon as I was working full-time online, I wanted to do something a bit more profitable.
Okay. I do like it. And we've actually had another guest on, Marion Bouquet. She was, I forgot what episode, it's a long time ago, but it was called Voiceovers. And, episode 47. So it was a long time ago. Oh, yeah. Almost exactly 100 episodes ago. It's pretty crazy. She started doing voiceover work on Fiverr, which is basically saying, I have a microphone, a quiet place, and I'll read your script for $5. And she's actually the voice on the Travel Like a Boss podcast. So when you guys listen to the intro, that's her.
That's awesome.
And when she first started out, she was charging $5 because she didn't have a demo reel. She didn't have that much experience yet.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'll do these because instead of, doing it for free to get like a demo and then everything kind of sounding the same because you're just making things up, why not get real clients that have real scripts and are going to talk about, promote your company and use that while making a little bit of money on the side. So that's exactly how she got started. And now she's making, I think the last time I spoke to her, she was making like $3,000 a month from, I don't even know if she's on Fiverr anymore, but that's like the way she like launched herself. So
she got started on Fiverr and then built her business up. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, with Fiverr, like it's a great way to build up your reputation and once you put in the groundwork, like nowadays, Fiverr for me is pretty much passive. Like, so I've gone from working for like $5 an hour to earning like $15 or $20 in 10 seconds. So.
Please explain that because a lot of people are thinking like, what the heck are you talking about?
Sorry, I probably got a bit ahead of myself. But yeah, so basically I started selling, instead of like writing blogs and selling marketing plans, I started selling books on Fiverr that I'd already written and then people were just interested in. So like my top selling book at the minute is 100 marketing ideas and I sell that as a package. So you got like upsells like SEO tips and digital marketing strategies, as well as 100 marketing ideas. From there, people order them, and because I've already written the book, it's just a case of clicking a button, delivering it on Google Drive, and getting the money in literally a matter of seconds. So it's pretty awesome.
That's really cool. So let's break that down for people who are still trying to wrap their head around it.
Sure.
So Fiverr is a marketplace where normally people sell services. Well, I guess this is almost kind of a service as well. It's just that instead of you custom doing this service every time someone orders, you already have it all done.
Yeah, it's pre-made.
And and people order the service and then you just digitally deliver it, which in this case is just sending an email.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it's already uploaded on Google Drive, so I just send the link to them. And the great thing is as well, because it's so fast to deliver, people give me great reviews for it. Fiverr loves it, which means it goes up in your algorithm because it's so quickly delivered. And I'm getting so many more reviews because I'm delivering like 10 times more gigs a day than what I was doing previously. So it's like momentum building up, I guess.
That is awesome. And I think just off the top of my head, I can think of tons of, similar but different gigs. So, that way they're not trying to compete in your niche especially because, well, first I'd be messed up, but second, you're so far ahead of them, you have all the reviews. So it'd
be difficult to compete. Yeah,
and it'd be stupid for them.
Yeah.
But just off, but some people are probably thinking like, oh man, I wish I would have thought of that.
Man, there's so much opportunity.
So many things, right?
So much opportunity.
I'm going to give you guys 3 ideas right now, just off the top of my head, things that I would personally buy, so I know other people would buy. One is royalty-free music.
Yeah, definitely.
So most of it there's a lot of royalty-free music out there. It's kind of hard to find. It kind of sucks usually, so you have to go through a lot of it. And then, then you find it, then you gotta download it and blah, 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 right? So why do people want it? Is to when they make YouTube videos, they want to have music that they can put on there without someone else claiming that copyright. And when they do, bad things happen in your video. So, YouTube can either take it down or they can make it not, so you can't monetize it or whatever. So people want to buy royalty-free music, but first off, most people don't know where to get it. Second, people that do know where to get it don't want to spend the time looking for it.
Exactly, yeah.
So if you could figure those 2 things out, which is pretty easy, spend a day figuring that out.
Yeah.
And then what you want to do is you want to go through it all and then just download the good ones, categorize them. So, you can have one be like epic background music, or another one being like motivational music, or good, voice, good for voiceovers, or good for whatever it is.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Have different packages, and then you can even do a sample where you in your sales video, you can play like a little bit of each so people know what they're getting.
Yeah.
And when people buy it, one click, digital delivery, done.
Yeah, that's it. It's so easy for you, and it's perfect for them. It's going to save them hours of time and make their lives a lot easier. So,
and about how much money do you make from some of these books?
And I mean, bearing in mind, it cost me nothing to write these books. It was literally a few hours in an afternoon. So, I've had orders that start from $5, which is actually quite rare. Most of them are $15, all the way up to $80 for one book, for one package of books. Yeah.
And how many are you selling per month now?
I sell about $1,000 worth of books online, so it just makes my life so much easier. Yeah.
So, and that's pretty much all profit, right?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't cost me anything to write them. Didn't cost me anything to deliver them. Fiverr takes 20%, but that's $1,000 I'm making after Fiverr's margin.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So your total revenue is probably 1,250, whatever that is.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much completely passive, except for going in, clicking a couple things.
So damn easy. I mean,
and if you really wanted to, I'm sure you can figure out a way to have a VA do it, or some other way to do it. Okay.
And and also you've got the app on your phone for Fiverr, so literally just log on your app, click 2 buttons, and you're done.
And you're done.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
So easy.
All right, let's give someone else another idea. Something else that you can do is so I think with the music stuff, that can be literally 50 different projects.
Yeah.
So I think someone can just do that. But let's think ebooks, okay? Or other kind of digital downloadable things. One thing I could think of off the top of my head is like weight loss plans
I was
or
thinking
fitness
exactly
plans.
the same thing.
Really nice.
Yeah.
So what you can have is you can say, order this one if your goal is to lose weight.
Yeah.
Order this one if your goal is to gain weight. And then you have like these pre-written diet plans and you just send them that.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, they're buying it because they literally don't need to think. They've got the diet plan sorted, the workout program. It's all done for them. They just have to follow it.
Yeah. And the cool thing about these small gigs that are like $5 to $15 is people's expectations usually aren't that high.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So as long as they get a couple good tips out of it, they're happy with it. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. And then also, like with all these books, you've got the opportunity for upsells, so you can add extras to your gig. So with a workout program, you could sell a diet plan, or you could sell like yoga plans or anything like that. So there's a lot of opportunity to make even more money just from one gig.
This is great that this episode came out in the beginning of January, because I think this is the month where everyone's like, I want to have a stream of passive income for the year. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't have the time or the money to maybe get into e-commerce, or, I don't want to buy inventory to do Amazon FBA yet. I don't want to learn how to program, an app.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
This is something that takes a lot of time to set up. Maybe not a lot of time, but it takes a good amount of time to set up.
Yep.
All right. And then some time to manage. And then there's always gonna be little things you got to figure out. Right. But realistically, you can do this for pretty much no money.
Yep.
And it could be pretty much semi-passive.
Yep.
For either, at least the next few years, or maybe in the rest of your life. Who knows?
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to list it. Once you've written the content, you can make your first sale within 24 hours. It's super easy to deliver, so it's not going to be a big commitment on your side. And once you put a few gigs up, you can test and tweak and see which ones sell and add upsells and just optimize it even more to make more money. So yeah, it's great.
I like that. That's actually a good point where some people might be thinking, oh, thanks guys. You gave us the magic bullet. I'm just going to throw some crap up there and I'm just going to make some money. But it doesn't work that way, right?
No,
like
it doesn't.
Life and business doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So what are some very basic things that people need to have in place before they start selling? Like, do they need to have a nice profile? Seller profile? What do they need?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say, one of the biggest things I see with sellers on Fiverr is that their profiles are so poor. I mean, personally, I write a lot of sales copy, which is a whole different side of what I do, but you can optimize your profile in terms of your picture, your main header line, the skills that you have, and also when you're writing your sales copy, you got to focus on the value you're offering to the person who's going to buy stuff, which so many Fiverr sellers actually ignore, and I think it costs them a lot of sales. So yeah, I think that's the biggest factor, definitely. And then you need to think about your keywords, how you're going to tag the profile, how you're going to tag the gig, like pictures, videos, that sort of thing. So
as a new seller, when you first put up your first gig, are they likely to feature you under new, or do you have to do some of your own promotion in the beginning to get that ball rolling?
I didn't do any promotion whatsoever. So the beauty of Fiverr is I think it's in the top 60 most visited websites in the US. So popular. You got millions of people going on there every week. So literally, if you put stuff up there and people want to buy it, you're going to get sales. So yeah, it's all there for you. You don't need to do any extra promotion.
Okay. I like it.
Even though you could, if you wanted to, but
Yeah, I definitely like it. And there's so many things you can do that, if you guys don't want to do it completely passively and you want to make some actual money from it, one thing that works really well, I guarantee you, if you have a decent setup, as in decent lighting, decent camera, decent sound, people love things like testimonial videos or product review videos where companies might even send you a product. You have to hold it up and just talk about it.
Yeah.
Because, it's unfortunate, but most product reviews out there in the world are, people just sending people free stuff and saying, can you review this?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest selling items I've seen on Fiverr is people holding up company logos, pictures of a company logo in front of a really famous monument. So
there you go. Perfect.
It might be the Eiffel Tower. It might be the Golden Gate.
I can definitely see that. Yeah. So if you guys are either traveling to places where there's a famous monument or you guys happen to live near one, that's an awesome idea. You print out their company logo and then you hold it there, and the company loves it because it kind of shows they're worldwide, it makes the company seem kind of cool. They can use it for their social media or whatever it is, and then for you, it doesn't cost anything because you just walk over.
That's it. And you get to see a pretty monument in the meantime as well. And also, if you get a few orders, you could just print all the logos out at once.
Yeah.
Just in one after the other. Easy.
That's another great idea. I think a lot of people are like, it's $5. It's not worth my time.
Yeah.
But, I guess there's two things. So the first is batching. So if you get 10, 20 orders at a time and you say on there it's going to take 3 days to deliver, and every 3 days you go and just do it all at once, that can be, whatever 20 or 30 times 5 is $150 for a couple hours of work. That's great. The second thing that maybe you could talk about a little bit more is I've noticed as a buyer, very few things are actually $5 now.
Yes.
It used to be where everything was just $5, but now it seems like things are slowly starting to creep.
Yeah, I mean, so I think Fiverr changed the rules sort of midway through last year to the point where you don't have a minimum amount that you can charge for a gig. So you could start off at $500 if you wanted, or $200. And it's no longer the case that everything's a $5. So I guess Fiverr did it because they take 20% margin. So the more money they make, the better it is for them. But also, I mean, it gives you as a seller an opportunity to make more money and not just be grafting for $5 an hour. You've got a lot more opportunity and margins there to play with.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And it's almost kind of unfortunate from a buyer's point of view, seeing everything kind of going up in price. But it's almost like we got a good, fantastic deal for a few years. And then now it's going to like what it probably should cost. But what is nice actually is there's a lot of people who still do, cheap $5 gigs as like a way to get people in. So, they might, so for example, if you order like, let's say voiceover work, it might be $5, but only for 50 words or whatever it is. And then if you want more, then it costs more. And it doesn't necessarily take them that much more time because it's mostly like setting up the mic, reading the script, and then, uploading it. But if they can make $10 instead of $5 for literally 3 more lines of text of just reading it, it's easy for them.
Yeah, I mean, like Fiverr is... I mean, as a seller, Fiverr is probably the best place you can learn to about upsells. So you can reel people in with $5 as your main sort of price, but then you can upsell so many things. So, for example, if you were talking about testimonial videos, maybe for 30 seconds extra, you could charge $10, or if you wanted a certain style of voice, you could charge an extra $20. All these different things that you can charge extra for. So you sort of like reel the fish in with $5 price tag. And then you hit them with the upsells and make more money.
With your English accent, you can definitely make money doing voiceover work.
You reckon?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, I was singing before on the on Myspace. And
So right before this episode, we looked for. I was looking at Julian's like profile and his photos and everything, and I noticed that he has a old MySpace page.
So embarrassing.
This photo looks like I don't know how old is this photo.
Man, I think I was like 18 or 19.
But I started listening to one of his songs. You can actually hear it here. But let me actually rewind this a bit for everyone, just so they can hear the whole thing in its splendor.
Oh, no.
This is "Lost in the Northwest" by Julian Goldie.
I've been dreaming of a place of time where money comes free, gold paves the ground. Oh, do you dream of that place too?
It's pretty good. I like it.
Thank you, man. I had no idea it was still on MySpace.
I think it'd be fun if everyone goes back to their old MySpace pages and just see like what's on there, like what the photos are, like what our old lives were like. Because I know I was
different.
I was an idiot.
Me too. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm sure all of us were idiots, and it's crazy because if you think about it, the next president after Trump, maybe not the next one, but within 10 years, every president is going to have a Facebook page or Instagram or something or Snapchat where there's a trail of the stupid things they did as a teenager. And I wonder what that's going to be like.
I know. I mean, like some of those photos now they're in the internet. They're never going away. So you've got this big digital footprint that you can't erase. It's crazy.
So part of me kind of wishes that I would have kind of just saw that big picture and been like super careful about any photo I uploaded. I'm like, okay, I don't want a photo of me drinking alcohol or looking like a douchebag.
Are you going for president?
No, definitely not. But the other part of me is kind of like, you know what? Maybe this is the time to just stop giving a fuck. Like start judging people on who they are today and their actions today, and just accepting that everybody was an idiot in the past.
Yeah, and, I mean, that's what makes us human, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, although you might regret some of those pictures, like, it's also a big part of your personality and who you are, and everyone does it, right?
Yeah. So apologize to everyone out there for being a douche in the past if you knew me in the MySpace era. But check my current Facebook. I'm more normal now, but who knows? 10 years from now, I might look back and be like, oh my God.
You might say the same thing.
I might say the same thing. But
episode 2050.
Yeah. So why'd you stop doing music?
It's kind of sad, but like when I started a 9-to-5 job, I sort of lost my passion for music, which is really sad. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe now that I've got a lot more free time, I'd like to get back into it, actually. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Shit, can you play any instruments?
Yeah, I could play a bit of guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, slap at the bass.
Can we start a band? No.
Yeah, me and you. You can be
Yeah.
lead singer.
I can't sing, but I'll be happy
triangle?
to. Yeah.
You can get on the
We do
triangle.
some traveling nomads. You actually have a song called One Way Ticket. Is that about travel or what is that?
Do you know what? I don't even know what that is. Which worries me. Please don't play it.
Let's play it right now. Let's take a listen.
Oh no.
Is this ring a bell yet?
I sort of recognise it slightly, but
It's so crazy that we can forget
I know,
things that we've
this
done in the
is
past.
mental, isn't it? Yeah.
She looked down this dead end street. Do you see people that lied to me? Are them rusty faces in?
I like your voice, man.
Thanks, man. It's kind of
I really
croaky,
do.
and I must have drunk a lot of alcohol the night before.
That's good. Dude, seriously, man. Like, get back into it.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
I think you
will.
should. I really
Yeah.
think you should.
Or 10 years from now, I could be the world's biggest rock star.
Who
You never
knows,
know.
man? I could say,
Me
oh
and you.
yeah, I had him on the podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
You know. So, but aside from the Fiverr gigs, so it seems like that's pretty all automated.
Yeah, yeah.
Are there any gigs that you do that aren't automated yet, or can't be automated?
Not on Fiverr, but I sell sales copy on Upwork as well. So I write people's websites and landing pages, and that's completely my own time. But it's so much more well paid. So
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what are you currently charging an hour for that?
it varies, but I mean between $50 and $100 an hour. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like way more.
Such
but
a different class. Yeah, yeah.
It's not something that you can just record once and then just upload again.
Yeah, that's it. It's not passive. I mean, I've looked at outsourcing it, like, you know, winning a job from a client and outsourcing it to someone else for like 20% of the price.
So creating like an agency almost.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but it's not worked. I've not figured it out just yet. It's a project in motion.
Okay, I do like that. So it seems like you kind of figured it out with it's kind of the freelancing for big dollars because you're
Yeah.
providing a good service, and then passive income on the side for in case, let's say you want to take a break. So if you
Yeah,
want to
that's it.
travel and you don't want to open your laptop for a week, you can, and you still have some money coming in.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like, my friend came over to Bangkok like in October last year, so I took a few weeks off and we did a bit of traveling and things, and it was awesome because I just didn't have to worry about money or income or working, and I'd be on my phone and he'd be like, "Well, what are you doing?" I'd just be like, "Oh, you know, just delivering
Watch
a book.
this, bro.
Watch this, bro. This is how I earn $10, bro." And yeah, it's like a really liberating feeling. It's incredible.
I wonder from that friend, like when they saw that, if because only one or two things have happened, right?
Yeah.
One is the like slagging it off, like, oh fuck that, mate. Like, you know, get back to drinking. Like, why are you wasting? You know, even though it's only like 2 seconds, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a minute. It's like, why are you wasting that? Or like, oh, it's only $5. You know, it's only $10. That's a waste of my time. Or a light bulb goes off, and he's like, what the fuck? Why am I not doing that? Why am I not making money while sitting here, you know, drinking a pint?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think it's funny because he lives in a completely different world to me. So he's in like the Royal Air Force, and you know, it's kind of like all about discipline and working a certain schedule. And whereas working online's the complete opposite. You know, you've got your freedom and you work when you want, and if you want passive income, you can do that too. So I think he was really interested in it, but I don't know if he's followed that up, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, kind of on that note, there has been a huge influx of digital nomads this year,
Nice.
especially just in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
Like the Facebook groups have grown from like
Blowing up.
a couple thousand people to 13,000.
It's crazy.
And with that comes a lot of controversy. Like it's insane. Like I actually stopped replying to all those groups just because it's just a waste of time. And people are just bickering back and forth about
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But the thing that scares me the most is when someone wants to get into this lifestyle and none of the people who are actually successful are replying to it because we have our real businesses to run.
Yeah.
we're just enjoying life. We're like, we're actually traveling, we're having fun. And all the replies they get for even very like basic questions, someone might ask like, what, where can I find accommodation? And people will just tear them apart. Like,
I know, it's brutal, isn't it? It's really brutal. Yeah.
And I was like, what are you guys like? And what are you guys doing? Like, they just ask like, where can I find a place to live? And
imagine if that happened in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
No one would start a conversation anymore.
But here's the thing: is I'm so afraid that it's going to deter people from either coming or trying this lifestyle, or if people are here, they're going to get put off and then they're just going to leave before they have the chance to meet any normal people.
That'd be a real shame, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, in any corner of the internet, you find these trolls, don't you? And you find people who just focus on the negativities, but you can't let that put you off, can you? You've just got to be laser focused on getting out here and doing what you want to do and not listening to the people who are hating on you. Yeah.
But I think that's why this podcast is so important. Like I need, and I feel like I need to share this stuff.
Yeah.
It's because if it wasn't for people like you taking the time out to just share their story, most people just would never know.
Yeah.
They just won't know that's a possibility. Because I'm just guessing, but you probably don't have time to reply to every single person on like Chiang Mai digital nomads every time they have a question. Like
no.
Right?
Not
like
really.
how often do you ever actually reply on there?
To be honest, I mean, probably once or twice in the last year, and that was just to my mates, really. I feel kind of bad saying that, but yeah, I mean, I am like, in the past when I was first starting out on Fiverr and trying to work online, like I was so grateful for the amount of content out there, and mostly free content that's just incredibly useful. So yeah, it's just sort of weeding out the negativity and the crap stuff to hone in on the good stuff. Yeah, like this podcast.
Yeah. So that's why I'm glad this is around. There are other groups, like local groups, where there's none of that. People just kind of like sharing events and say, oh, let's meet up on whatever day.
Yeah.
The problem is those groups never get like pushed up on top of Facebook because you don't have 5,000 replies for a thread about some BS. And then you just never see it. So I guess the advice I would give people is, so first off, ignore all the trolls and the haters because they're always going to be there and they're probably not very helpful at all.
Yep.
Look for people that you connect with that, have the time, number one, to give you the advice. And if they don't have the time, see if they've done interviews on podcasts like this.
Yeah.
Maybe check out their blog or their site or something. Maybe they have some content there. Or find someone who's like just right, like a level or two ahead of you, and they're still excited to talk about it. Because I think when someone first figures it out, they have the time to share and they want to share.
Yeah.
So I would do that. And then as soon as possible, meet people in person.
Yeah.
Because I think in person, nobody's like this.
No,
nobody's a douche. Well, I'm sure there's douches in person, but most people are very genuinely kind in person.
I gotta say, like, when I first moved out here, I didn't expect people to have so much time for me. Like, if you have some questions about your business or you want to find out what they're working on, like, people are so friendly. They're so incredibly helpful, and I wouldn't worry about like starting up a conversation in Myspace or wherever you go to try and meet new people. Is so easy and so people are so approachable out here. Everyone's in the same boat, aren't they? Yeah. And they've either been there before or they're in that situation now.
The person sitting right next to me at Myspace today, I wish I remembered his name, but I just turned to him and was like, hey, do you know WordPress? And he's like, yeah, that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you mind taking a quick look? I'm trying to edit this photo. All right. And I was kind of expecting it. I'm like, if I think I told him, I was like, if it's going to take you too much time, like, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. But this guy, like, he spends the next like 20 minutes, like, really trying to figure it out because it was kind of complicated.
That's
it was like
awesome,
custom coded.
Yeah. And
then he said to me, he's like, okay, it looks like this. And I think, I don't know if it was French or from, he had definitely an accent. So I don't want to destroy it, but he was like, he's like, it looks like it's custom coded. I can write you the script to bypass it quick and dirty.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I really appreciate your help, but I don't want you spending any more time on this. Let me just figure it out. But it's so crazy where that's just some guy sitting next to me at the co-working space.
It is, yeah.
And he has his own things to do. but he will take the time to do that. And I really believe most people in person, if you ask them the right questions, maybe if you ask them something really dumb that they can just Google, they'll kind of brush you off a bit. I think like, I don't know. There's like certain questions, they're like, what's like the weather or something. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like just Google it. But no, that's a terrible example. But like,
Yeah, like for example, I was in Space last week, and there was a lad who was working on his app, it's like a Bitcoin app, like tracking Bitcoin. And anyway, we got chatting about it, and English wasn't his first language, so I offered just to write a sales copy for him for the app, and it only took me 20 minutes, but it probably makes a big difference to him and the amount of sales he gets on his app.
Wow,
so,
that's crazy.
But it's like I don't know, it didn't bother me at all doing that. And I think most people, they don't mind helping someone out.
And I think if they had like the real abundance mentality,
that's it, exactly.
It's this is what I can imagine happening. Okay, so with you spending that time to help them out, the next time someone needs sales copy written, to be like, oh, check out Julian.
Yeah, exactly.
He writes great work. Here's an example. He did my site.
Yeah.
Or even for him, let's say he starts making a lot of money through that app, and then he's like, oh, now we have a budget. Like, Julian, can you write us a longer sales letter? Can you do it for this other thing? And then they're happy to hire you.
Yeah, it's like opens up a ton of doors and more opportunities, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you might do something for free now, but it could really help you and benefit you in the future. Definitely.
Yeah, but the thing is, for people here's what I don't like is when people like they will expect it up front. They're like not really giving. They're like, well, I'll do this if you do this.
Yeah, that's
and
so
then
bad.
I'm no, I'd rather just not do it.
That's kind of like, that's the wrong motivation for that person, isn't it? Like they're doing it for their own selfish reasons rather than just having that abundance mindset and just giving to people as well.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And it's like, people can tell when it comes from like a genuine place versus when people doing it because they want something.
100%. If you're going to get asked for a favor the next week or not.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, like actually another example. And here's the thing is, it's not always just people offline, but I think it's if someone knows you, has met you, they're very, very willing to help, even online, but they met you in person. And that's why I also think podcasts and stuff like this, because even though people I haven't met in person, they feel like they know me. Or, I basically the same thing after people hear your interview. People can feel like they know you. So then even if you're just interacting online, people are still going to be very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's like they're sort of getting a dose of your personality, aren't they, almost?
Yeah, I can see that. So I got a random question from a reader.
Sure.
And I didn't share his name or anything. Well, I think I just called him John, but I didn't share his photo or anything because it was kind of an asshole thing. And I felt a bit bad posting it. Yeah. But I think this is kind of the harsh truth. So basically, what he did is he emailed me and he said, "Hey, I want to use your 20% off Shopify coupon,
right? But
the instructions say click the link in incognito mode or clear your cookies first. How do I do that?" And I replied to him, and I was going to answer it, but I replied to him very hard, a bit too harshly. I said, Google it, because if you cannot figure this part out, you probably shouldn't be starting an e-commerce store.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. If you want it that bad, you're not going to get stuck on a quite a easy to research question like that.
Yeah. And I hear the things. I don't expect everyone to know how to clear your cookies or use incognito mode. No. Because a lot of people don't know how to do it yet. But
it's easy,
as Julian said, it's very easy to find out.
Yeah.
And I think that is the key right there, where it's probably easier for him to find that out than to find my email address, which I don't really put out there because I don't really want people emailing because I don't have that much time to ask these questions.
Yeah.
So the fact that someone has the kind of mentality where they're like, oh, okay, well, let me just ask Johnny to kind of do it for me or show me how to do it versus let me figure this out. It's a very different mentality.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, with working online, you already know, you've got to be very self-dependent and independent, haven't you? So if you really want it that bad, you wouldn't spend 10 minutes writing out an email to someone. You just spend 2 minutes Googling it and find out how to do it. But also, a big part of learning is just going out there and getting the answers for yourself. You can't just take off other people. Not that I'm saying he is, but
And so John, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on blast or anything. And I know, like, he probably came from a good place. He's probably like,
I'm sure, yeah.
I'm sure he's not a bad person. I'm sure he's like, Johnny, I want to use your coupon to give you credit. Yeah. I appreciate that, and I definitely could have phrased it better. But I think from now on, because the nomad, so becoming a digital nomad now is way easier than it used to be. I think even a year ago when you started, there wasn't as many resources.
It's incredible now. There's like new resources opening up every single day, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a new blog or there's a new podcast.
There's more co-working spaces, there's more meetups, there's more conferences. Everything's easier. And I almost think now, because some of the pushback that people are getting online is because it's so easy that people come and they're completely unprepared.
Yeah.
Like they literally just show up and say, okay, I'm here. I want to be a digital nomad now. What do I do? And people are like, what the hell are you doing? You just showed up. You don't even have a laptop. What are you expecting? Like,
that's scary. I mean, I have met some people who have come out to Chiang Mai and they had no business before. They had no idea of how to start an online business, and they just quit the job thinking it would all come together when they get to Chiang Mai. And it's not really the case. You got to have that. Personally, I'd advise having your own side income before quitting your job, and don't quit your day job before you can flourish with your next project.
I definitely agree with that as well. But here's the $1 million question: is did you have income before you came here?
I did. Okay. So I was working full time, and then I think it wasn't much money, but it was enough to survive out here. It was like I was earning $500 or $600 a month before I quit my job.
Okay. And you know what? Even though that's not quite enough to live, it's almost enough where you're not going in debt being here.
Yeah, I was hoping that I'd just get the extra 20% or whatever by working a bit extra harder and working full time on it.
And did that work out?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, now it's more than that, much more than that. So yeah.
See?
Yeah.
I think your way is definitely smarter. I know for me, I just came.
So I know some people can do all or nothing,
but I think the difference is, first off, you have to have enough runway. So sell your car, sell your stuff, and then if you have, let's say, $5,000, which is pretty easy to get if you sell your stuff, that can last you 5, 6, maybe even 7 months, right? Especially if you live frugally, you live on a budget.
Yeah.
And then if you take that, let's say you take 2 months to figure out how to do something, you test it, and then you spend the next 2 months kind of working towards it. By the 3rd, 4th, 5th month, you should have enough income, right?
I know, as well, some people thrive under pressure, don't they? So, one of my best mates out here, he literally wasn't earning. I don't think he even had a profile online for Fiverr or Upwork. But within a couple of months, because he was under so much pressure, it was either do or die, make money out here or you're going home. And because of that pressure, it motivated him to really kill it on Upwork. And he was the one who taught me how to use Upwork. So.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I was the same way, where I was broke, so I had to work and I had to figure it out. Yeah. Versus if I had a cushion, or if I still had a job, I don't think I would have done it. It's way more work than people think it's going to be.
It is a crazy amount of work sometimes.
Even creating something on Fiverr that you mentioned, it's 100% doable. It's not, you can do it for pretty much for free. Yeah. And it definitely, and it doesn't take that much time. But for a lot of people, they're just going to go 4 steps into it and be like, what? I got to figure out how to upload. Blah, blah, blah. My image is too big. It won't accept it. Okay. I'm not going to do it. And unfortunately, if you don't want it bad enough, or you don't have the, kind of that self-drive to figure it out.
Motivation, isn't it? Yeah.
Then you're probably just not destined to work for yourself, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can work on your motivation and you can increase it, but you really have to have that commitment to do it. Yeah.
So I do think it is possible for everyone. I don't think it's what everyone actually wants. I think
it's not for everyone. Yeah.
I think some people are actually happier having a paycheck.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can think of a few friends already who they'd rather have a stable life where, they want the the 9-to-5 job and the steady career and the occasional promotion. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, really. It just depends what's your goal in life and what do you want to achieve.
Yeah, because there's definitely some of us that fucking hate that shit.
Man, it was so depressing for me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like working 9 to 5 was just, I just remember getting to the weekends and being exhausted and being moody and like, you know, waking up at 6 a.m. on a Monday, I was a killer, or sucking up to some manager I had at work just because if I didn't, I'd probably lose my job, and facing constant redundancy scares, all these little things that I don't like.
Was it really that hard flipping chicken at Nando's?
Oh, come on, man. You know, it's all about the hustle. And it was McDonald's, actually.
Was it? No, actually, so what was your job before you came here?
So I was a marketing manager in recruitment. Recruitment's one of those industries where it's a revolving door of people. You know, some people never have a job for longer than 6 months in recruitment. And I think... You know, like you have that induction period for like 3 months. Mm-hmm. At our company, it was like 60% of people who were newly recruited didn't make it through. So it was so tough and so cutthroat, and so many jobs being made redundant or people getting fired. I mean, it was never a dull day, but it was pretty stressful at the same time. Yeah.
And were you behind a desk or like behind a computer, or was that in person, or how did it work?
I started off like that, but then eventually I moved on to... So I got a new job in recruitment a couple of years ago. And at that point, I was working remotely, which was awesome because... You know, I hope my old boss isn't listening, but I was working on my side projects during that time.
But you know what? At the same time, like, so me and Chris were calculating how many hours people will actually work, right? Because yesterday I went home at like, I don't know, like 12, like noon.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did I used to work from like 9 to 5?
Think the same thing. Yeah.
And Chris was like, you weren't working 9 to 5. You were probably hanging out 9 to 5.
Yeah. You were hanging around the water cooler for 9 to 5. Yeah.
And like, he's like, how many hours of actual work did you do? Because I don't think it's humanly possible
or productive
to do more than, let's say, 4 hours of productive work.
Yeah.
If you fucking burn out.
I think you're right. Yeah.
You know?
I know that exact feeling. And I was reading about Japan, where like the average hours worked per week is between 70 and 80 hours a week, which is like, how are people doing that? Like, how is that humanly possible to be productive during that time?
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, you know what? For people like me and you, I think we are very, very happy that this is possible. That, you know, location independent work, being a digital nomad, you know, so good. It's available now, and it's doable. Yeah. I don't think anyone's ever said it was easy. I think a lot of people claim that other people have said it was easy.
Yeah.
But I don't remember, I don't recall ever even hearing someone saying it's easy.
No, you only find copywriters saying that for people's sales pages. Yeah. But I mean, it's a tough road, and it's challenging, and it's lonely at times, but
it's rewarding.
So much, it's so worth it. Yeah. I mean, it's literally life changing, and you know, like when I go back to the UK, like my family and friends are jealous, and they can't believe what I'm doing is possible. But it really is. If you're motivated enough, anyone can do it. Yeah.
I like it. So, thank you so much for coming on the
Thanks
podcast.
For having me, bro.
If people want to know more about your, let's say, to buy one of your gigs, or if they want to hire you as a copywriter, how can they get in touch?
So you can get in touch with me via fiverr.com/Julian Goldie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And what about for copywriting?
For copywriting, Upwork.
Okay.
If you just search for Julian Goldie on there, I'm on there as a copywriter. Yeah.
Some advice to you: get a website.
Oh, I've got a website too. Yeah, it's juliangoldie.com, but I don't use it that much.
You know what?
It's kind of bad.
What I want you to do is before
I've got homework.
Look, literally before the end of the day, because this episode's probably not going to go up until tomorrow.
Okay.
I want you to go home and put something on that homepage.
Yeah.
Where if someone wanted to buy your copywriting, you know, a gig, that they can just contact you through there, because I'm sure if you send them to Upwork, first off, they're taking a fee.
Yeah, they're going to get a margin. Yeah.
How much do they take?
20%.
See, they're taking 20% that you could have had, or you could have said, you know what? Let me pass that 20% discount straight to the listener, or even split it. Let me say 10%, and then it's better for everyone.
I will do that today.
Will you do that today?
I promise.
Okay. So if you guys are interested in a copywriter, if you guys need some sales copy written, where can they go?
So they can go to juliangoldie.com.
Yeah.
And they can fill in the contact me page.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Thanks for promoting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And the purpose of this podcast and pretty much all the podcasts has always been to give people, I want to say, give people alternative ways where they can do this as well. Mm-hmm. And I think this episode has really, really fulfilled that, where this is something that I don't think anybody has a legitimate excuse why they can't do.
There's no excuse for it. Yeah.
I think with some of the other business models, some people might have a legitimate reason. They're like, I don't have the capital to start importing, or maybe I don't know how to code, or I don't know, I don't have the investment to buy a course, or I don't have this, I don't have that. But basically, you kind of just laid it out there. You've given them all the information for free. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
This is a model that doesn't cost any money. It doesn't cost any money to sign up for Fiverr. If anything, if you guys want to buy a Fiverr gig, I'll even give you guys a free Fiverr gig. I have a PDF with a bunch of discounts. It's dropshiplab.com/discounts. And in there's actually a link for your first Fiverr gig for free. So then you can go on there, buy Julian's ebook, so you can have an idea of what it looks like. You can get some of those 100 marketing tips. You can see how it's delivered. You can see how the whole process goes, how communication goes, and then you can do it yourself in a different niche.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And all it costs you is your time.
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead and do that, guys. If you guys like this podcast, please do me a favor. Go on iTunes, leave it a review, because this is the best way to spread the word. And if you guys are going to be in Chiang Mai February 4th, make sure you get your tickets for the Nomad Summit that's coming up. That's nomadsummit.com. And this week's review is from Molly Fiona from the UK.
Okay.
So let's try to do this in our best British accent. Can you posh it up a bit?
So Molly, okay. So you want me to read this out?
In the poshest accent you can. What do you think somebody named Molly Fiona, how Molly Fiona would read it?
Molly Fiona. I've been following Johnny's podcast for a few months now, and I'm hooked. I've listened to every episode back to back, and I'm 100 episodes in. Johnny is inspirational, motivational, and full of fantastic advice and tips. His guests are well selected, and each one brings individual value. I learned something new in each episode. It's a long paragraph.
I like how it switched from a old grandmother to like this posh bloke.
I feel like I'm in a Charles Dickens novel.
Is it?
Yeah.
So we won't read the rest. If you guys want to check it out, you go on iTunes. But thank you guys for leaving these reviews, because it really does help a lot. Julian, thanks for being on the show, buddy.
Thanks so much, bro.
I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Travel Like a Boss podcast. If you want to hear more, including the bonus How to Choose the Perfect Niche episode, join our mailing list at travellikeabosspodcast.com. See you next week, and remember, if you want to travel like a boss, you need to be your own boss. So start your online business today and start living the lifestyle you've always dreamed of.